Hello there, true believers. About 6 hours ago, I was privy to go to the Black Widow movie. I don't want to call it premiere, but I was able to go see it. Uh, and this is your Black Widow movie review. There will be spoilers in here. I'm going to do my best to make this under 30 minutes. Could have made this a long time ago, but I've been ruminating over some things. I just have an outline here and I have notes here. Fun fact, it is cheaper to go to a movie theater. Wear a mask, by the way. It's cheaper to go to a movie theater and pay $8 or $10 to go to a movie than to pay $30 to watch this in your home. You're definitely paying for a convenience fee. and yeah, I'm very happy. This is actually, is this the first movie? Yeah, this is the first movie in over a year I've been able to go to the movie theater to see. So I'm very happy about that. Got to see it with my normal crew of two, just me and my good friend, who's probably watching this, and he's probably waiting. He knows what's coming in this review. Um, Good experience overall. I like the theater still had things spaced out, and yeah, I felt safe. You know, anytime I come home from COVID, I make sure I'm clean and everything. So I did not wear the shirt that I wore to the movies, which was my Black Panther with the style of Simba from The Lion King. I wore this because I was not going to waste that shirt on this review. And I'm definitely stalling. But before I continue, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. I really, really appreciate you all. Truly. Doing a review because it's been a while. I tried to do my reviews like The Mandalorian and stuff like that. I try to watch it and then just relay this to you. I actually think the last in theater movie I saw, if it wasn't the My Hero Academia movie, it had to have been Joker, but I think it was My Hero because that was the one I actually saw and then did a review for. So I can perfectly remember everything that happened. I just wouldn't be able to quote things word for word for you. And I can tell you Easter eggs and things like that. So let's just get into it. I do have just a few things I typed, and then I was totally immersed for the rest of the time. Uh, this movie is a flashback, more or less. It takes place after Civil War, but before Infinity War. Before Infinity War. So Natasha still has her red hair. Um, the movie starts in Ohio, 1995. We see a young lady who does. I'm going to be straight up, and I'm going to take it back a little bit. The young woman that's supposed to be Natasha does not really look like her, but I guess they were trying to go. Like, I didn't really care that her hair was blue, but she didn't look like a young Scarlett Johansson. Just looks like an awkward tween, if she was even a tween. She just looks awkward, right? The blue hair, I guess they were showing because she had red hair right here, but then had blue. I'm assuming that was to kind of conceal who she was. I don't remember a lot of people having multicolored hair in the 90s either, especially in middle America, right? But that's neither here nor there. So we see young Natasha riding her bike. She has a little whistle call she does to her sister Yelena. She whistles back. Yelena falls down and cries. Their mother, Melina, make sure I'm saying that name right. I want to say it's Melina. Oh, Yos cough. I will explain who she is in one moment once I get through this scene. Uh, it's time for dinner. They're going in to eat. And Papa, who is, of course, Aleski Shikovskov, uh, played by David Harbour. A very young looking David Harbour, too. Looks really good. And Melina is actually played by Rachel Weisz. I love seeing her and everything. She's a great actress. Anyway, it's time for dinner, and you know they have a little side conversation. He has gotten something on a disc. I remember the 90s with disc, floppy disk, and they have about an hour to leave. So it's time for the girls to go on an adventure. They gather up all their things. Natasha tries to grab a photo album, and her mother says don't, but she still grabbed it anyway. And they're in the car, excuse me, and they're driving, and little Yelena said, "Play my song." Her song is the, I want to say, was it Don Lemon that sang this song? Give me magic. Not Don Lemon. Don Lemon's the guy from CNN. Don McLean's American Pie. By Risky and Rye, that song. So they flew out. They drove out to a small little airspace. They had a plane waiting for them, and then we know things about to hit the fan when Lesky brought out a rifle, but he literally flips a car over to make room for the plane to come out. The girls load in, and they're like, why isn't Dad loading in? Well, here comes these blaring sirens and cars, and there's many, many cars. And on the side of those cars is the shield emblem. And I quickly realized, you are the bad guys. I got you. So Leslie was doing this really good action scene. He's taking pop shots. He's, going on hoods of cars. They're taking off on the plane. He's on the plane, and Natasha had to take over for her mom to right everything because she got hit with a stray bullet. And they fly to Cuba. If you know anything about your politics, you would know why they were flying to Cuba. So they flew to Cuba to meet, I guess, the higher up. He is the higher up. His name, which I'm going to give you in a second, because this character is not in the comics. He doesn't really matter. But his name is General Drikov. He is Drikov. He is basically the head of the Red Room. Um, Melina, she's being taken off because she's about to pass out. Of course, Aleski gave him the floppy disk. Looks like they're friendly. They're kissing each other on the cheek. They'll play in things later. She tells Natasha, and she told Natasha and Yelena before they left, pain only makes you stronger. Pain teaches you, go forward. And she said to them, do not let them make you lose your heart. Don't lose your heart. It's like, oh, we see where these things are going, because these armed guards that are taking her to be healed, they push the kids out, like, F them kids, push them aside. And they're about to take the girls. Natasha subdues a dude, takes his gun, and tells everybody, get back. I'll kill you if you touch her. Of course, Aletsky, he's the Red Guardian. He comes in, he calms the girls down. He tells them, hey, my girls are the strongest girls in the world. You'll be okay. They're sedated. They're taken off, and they are carted away in literal. I don't know what you call these things. I want to call them containers, kind of like the containers for trucks and conveyor belts, but they'll cart off in containers. It's human trafficking. This movie has a big, big message about human trafficking and things of that nature, and what those young ladies or what those people actually go through, which very harrowing. And during this time, of course, Drakov recognizes both of the girls and says, I want both of them, though, in particular. And we get a nice little montage of Natasha going through her Red Room Widow training with a horrible, horrible cover of Smells Like Teen Spirit by Nirvana. It's in here. I got some stuff up here. The band that sang it was Think Up Anger. Just, ugh. It was horrible. I hate it when people sing poppy, airy versions of songs. Ugh. Anyway, we are now in modern day. There's William Hurt playing General Thunderbolt Ross. They're closing in on Natasha. It was 21 years later, so we're in 2016. And Natasha sees, she's in a bathroom. She's tending to herself. She can see the agents trying to move in on her mobile device, and Ross looks really sickly. That's a thing that should be noted. I'm pretty sure between 2016 and 2021, if he survived the snap, blip, whatever you want to call it, pretty sure he is going through some type of gamma treatment. But that's just my 2 cents. Um, she calls him, says, "Hey, you're embarrassing. You're gonna embarrass yourself. I can't believe you did all this chasing." And he says, "Where are you gonna go?" She's like, "I was a lot of different people before I was an adventurer." They move in. They find her clothing. It was just an old place that she lived. She's on a boat somewhere heading to another place. Throws away her phone because they can't track her now. The thing's in water, even if they wanted to. She meets up with an old friend, and this old friend, it doesn't matter who was played by a guy from *Handmaid's Tale*, but His name's Rick Mason. Rick Mason in the comics was an old Shield agent whose father happens to be the Tinker, and the Tinker was not only in Spider-Man Homecoming, he's in Spider-Man Far From Home, working with stupid ass Mysterio. So yes, I love Mysterio, but I'm angry with what he did. But that's neither here nor there. Here nor there. That is this character. He's constantly sleeping because he's going through time zones. He's the guy who you go to get things, and I wouldn't doubt it if they actually have that Shield connection even here, but they just didn't. Just they didn't go through it too much. Meanwhile, overseas we do see an older Yelena, and her and several other widows. They are going to take down a target. Apparently, the target notices them. It's carrying a box. Yelena's going after her, and through a tussling street, and the murder was brutal. We see the knife go in, she twists and cuts her, and the lady pulls out a red vial, sprays something in her face, and it frees her from whatever mind control the red room had over her. And she's looking at her, realizes what she's done. She tells her, "Hey, free the others, run." She cuts out her tracker from her thigh and goes on the run. Meanwhile, Natasha is setting up her new life off the grid. Um, and the young man said, "Hey, I got you some things from Budapest. These are things from Budapest." The same Budapest that was brought up in the Avengers when Natasha and Hawkeye were fighting off the aliens. She said, "Hey, kind of reminds me of times of Budapest." And he's like, "I did not have a good time at Budapest. You and I remember things differently." Get into that in a moment. So she is she needs to go get a gas container to refill up her generator to turn on her home. She was watching James Bond movies, which was fairly interesting. This movie does give off the feel of a Bourne movie, a Bond movie. It's very much a spy movie. Anytime you have these international heroes that don't necessarily do things with powers, they give off that feel. Captain America, Winter Soldier gave that feel. Even Civil War, even though we had some powered individuals, you do get the world hopping, yeah, world hopping, and things of that nature. Same feel that you get from Falcon and Winter Soldier. Well, while she is on her way, she gets hit by an RPG, and who happens to walk from this RPG from the car that hit her with an RPG? None other than our Taskmaster, and Taskmaster. In the comics, Taskmaster is played by a Tony Masters. He was a former Shield agent who turned mercenary, and has a photographic memory. That's not exactly how it goes, but it's to the level of he can once he watches a person, he can mimic their movements. Period, perfectly down to the letter. But he cannot gain their powers if they're a powered individual. So a person like Spider-Man, he can't lift up the car, but he can imitate the flips. And they have a nice little fight scene. Fight scene was really good. When Natasha's also very smart in this. She's not dumb, which is very much appreciated. She's not lacking. We've spent enough time with this character where you don't have to build that up. And she knows that Taskmaster's going after whatever box from Budapest she had. She grabbed what was in it, was knocked into the water. It's too late for Taskmaster to pursue. When she saw that it was a picture from a photo booth that she took with her sister, she knew who sent it, and she knew where to go. So she went to Budapest, and it looks like it was the same old hideout that her and Clint had probably used for that Budapest mission. Well, she gets there, and Yelena's already there, but they don't know if they can trust each other. So we get a nice fight scene where it looks like they were trying to kill each other. I'm talking kitchen knives. Natasha got smashed in the head with a plate. It was very Jason Bourne-esque because while her sister had a knife, she had a rolled up piece of foam. Was about to choke her out, and she realized that she was about to almost kill her. She says, "You know what, truce." Um, she shows that she has the thing. She's like, "Why would you bring that back here?" Well, I'm wondering, why would you send it to me? What's going on? And they have a nice little talk. And the talk, she says, "Okay, I want to know what type of gun makes those 3 bullet holes in the wall." And it wasn't a gun, it was arrows. This is the place where her and Clint had hid out for 10 days in Budapest because of a mission that she had. It was to prove that she was defecting from Russia. Somehow she had broken free of whatever happened in the Red Room and wanted to change sides. Well, what the mission was to kill Drakov. Yelena was telling her, did you see a body? What happened? What went on? And she didn't see a body because they blew him up. And what happened when in the ensuing chaos, her and Clint had to hide out for 10 days there. I'm trying to not interject too much because I'm trying to speed through this movie. We then get a scene where the widows are onto them. They're there. They have to run. During one of the scenes, it's in the trailer, where one of the late girls tries to cut her, but she falls down. Natasha checks on her. Elena's going to double back around, try to free her, but whoever's behind the scenes can control her and make her kill herself with her own widow's bite. And she's like, I didn't want to do this. I don't want to do this. Well, now they need to find. The sisters are kind of having some bonding, but they're kind of not. Natasha's very bitter about their past because it was fake. It was a sleeper agent front. Natasha knew it. She was trained. They were both orphans. They aren't. None of these people were blood related. But they're thinking, how do we get to Drakov since he's still alive? And why is he still alive? And what happened? Well, Natasha used his own daughter as collateral damage to blow him up. Somehow she carried the bomb. Bomb went off. Thought he was dead, but he's been underground ever since. Natasha thought she had ended the Red Room Black Widow project, and she did not. All she did was just make this guy scatter. So their plan is to break Aleski, the Red Guardian, out of jail. Give you some quick notes on both Yelena and Red Guardian. Yelena Belova was gravely mistreated in the comics. They treated her like absolute dog shit. To the point Natasha even tricked her into making her think that she was her to draw out another enemy. And yeah, they treated I liked Yelena more in the comics than I did Natasha. I've never truly been a 100% fan of Black Widow, but I respected her existence. I'll leave it at that. Um, so it's nice to see a young actress like Florence Pugh playing Yelena and then doing a different spin on it. Yelena's very likable. I don't see her dying. She's dead in the comics. Even had a couple of clones. I don't see her dying anytime soon. Um, Red Guardian never had superpowers. There's been 9 different Red Guardians. Yelena even calls him Crimson Dynamo at one point, but no, you're not the Crimson Dynamo. Crimson Dynamo was what Whiplash was supposed to be in Iron Man 2. Crimson Dynamo is one of Iron Man's greatest villains, right up there with the Mandarin. I will not get into that again. Um, so he is in jail. Arm wrestling people telling them about the time he faced off against Captain America, which I'm in the movie theater thinking they didn't uncover him until 2006. 2000, not 2006, until 2000, yeah, 2006, 2007. There's no way you could have fought him. And even one guy says it, the biggest prisoner sits down to arm wrestle him. And he says that didn't happen. He's like, oh, you're calling me a liar. He's getting tattooed while he's doing this. He's getting tattooed himself. Breaks the guy's arm. Well, he gets a some type of mail call from in the prison. It's a Red Guardian action figure. Well, the action figure head pops off. He puts the earpiece in. They tell him, hey, we're going to tell you where to go. Don't make a scene to get out. Of course, he already made a scene. He knocked out a guard and punched him in the face because he ate the food that came along with the Guardian toy, which I'm assuming they knew that was going to happen. Well, of course, everything goes wrong. Natasha has to jump from a helicopter, which she again got from her friend Rick Mason. Rick Mason seems like he's really into her, but we all know her heart is with some green guy. And I'm purposely skipping over parts because Yelena and Natasha do have a nice little heart to heart when they were doing this plan on how to get to the Dreadkov guy. Uh, Actually, I skipped a whole lot because during that whole chase scene, they're actually running from none other than Taskmaster. Yes, I know I'm bouncing all over the place. I apologize, but they ran from Taskmaster. Taskmaster did a really cool ass Hawkeye move with the bow and arrow. Where he shoots it, bounces up, hits their car. They managed to escape into the subway. Yeah, the subway, and they went into the place coincidentally where Clint and Natasha had hid out for those 10 days waiting for everything to pass by so they can get the hell out of there. One of the things to know about Taskmaster, I won't even talk about that, but I will say he has a visor that looks like he's scanning and analyzing everything. Makes him look more like Prometheus from DC than Taskmaster, but whatever. Back to them breaking Red Guardian out of jail. Very nice fight scene. Very well done. Yelena makes the mistake of using an RPG to shoot down a machine gun from the helicopter that they were given because the prison is surrounded by the mountains and she causes an avalanche. Eventually, they get Alex Key out of there. Problem is, he thinks they came for him. No, they just want to know where Red Room is. He says they don't know where I'm at. They don't know where they're at. They put me in jail the instant after they took you guys. He wanted to fight for his country. His whole deal is wanting to be a big name. He wanted to be the Captain America of Mother Soviet Russia. And there's a lot of tension there. The girls are they're very bitter towards him. They do not like him at all, especially Natasha. Um, Trying to make sure I don't forget anything. We do get a couple of scenes showing that Taskmaster has something in the back where one of the widows uploads, I guess, the mission or where to go. We even saw him studying like the moves of Black Panther and other people. Mind you, Taskmaster's not said anything once, and in the comics, Taskmaster is very mouthy. He has a New York accent, deep New York accent, very mouthy, talks a lot of shit, hasn't said a word. Anyhow, eventually they say, we need to go get Melina. Melina, in the comics, is known as the Iron Maiden. Iron Maiden is one of Black Widow's biggest enemies. No issue with them making her mother in this. That's not a big deal. She did in the comics have a suit of armor and have lots of weapons, but not so much here. She's literally, a Black Widow. But we go back, they're traveling, and we get a nice little heart to heart where the girls are like, where Natasha's like, you're only talking to me about how Steve Rogers is. You think you're a competitor with a person you've never met, and you didn't really even care about us because we weren't family. And he pulls them both in and hugs them both and says, "What do you mean I didn't care? You, Yelena is the top female assassin in all of the world, the number one, the best, and you're a freaking Avenger. You got out. You're doing the best out of all of us." Which Yelena, of course, brings up. They bring up her being an Avenger several times, meaning like you're doing something bigger than just senseless killings. So they go on to Melina's farm where she's doing some mind control testing on pigs, right? And once they meet, it's almost back to old hat because Natasha sits in the seat she sat in as a kid, so is Yelena. Melina brings out food for them. Red Guardian puts back on his outfit. Apparently, him and I want to say her name is Melina. I'm just gonna keep calling her Melina. Him and Melina, they actually had a thing for one another. They were undercover for 3 years, mind you. So we get a nice little back and forth. Yelena is, she's pissed towards the point of tears. She's like, you all keep, Natasha keeps calling it fake. And I don't think she realizes how it's hurting Yelena because Yelena's like, yo, all of this was real to me. You all knew it was a mission. No one told me it was a mission because I was a little girl. And, you know, I went through a lot. They uncover the mind control serum that Melina is the top scientist for this guy. So she's his right hand. She shows them how the mind control thing works, where she tells a pig to come in. The pig opens the door. She named the pig after Alex, which is funny. And she says, "Stop breathing," cuts off his breathing. And the pig is more or less about to die until Natasha's like, turn it back on. But she says, we can control everyone, even tell them to not breathe and XYZ. I don't know where they used it or who they used it on. And Elena reveals they used it on her and several others, which is the shock and horror of Melina and, of course, Alex. everyone here is old enough to drink, so people are pounding drinks and everything like that because that's kind of how you get rid of the sadness, right? While Yelena goes into a room, Red Guardian tries to go in, and he tries to be a dad, but he's really bad at it. Um, Natasha and Melina have a conversation, and she says, Natasha was just laser focused, but she wants to know who her real mother was. She said, "Yeah, your mom. You get your tenacity from your mother. She was trying to search for you. They killed her. Usually, they wouldn't kill a civilian because who cares? No one will believe them. But because of her tenacity, they made sure to kill her." Um, Natasha notices the same photo album she was told not to take that she did take. She said, "So what is this? You say you don't live in the past, and what is this?" And obviously, this Russian sleeper cell family actually loved and cared for one another. 3 years they were there. 3 years they end up loving each other like an actual family. It's just the things they went through after the mission was done was was what it was. One of the greatest lines I think that I do remember Melina saying is that, you know, I didn't raise my girls to, you know, be soft or anything. And, Natasha tries to go, says, you didn't raise us at all. She said, well, look, under my watch, you didn't fail. Whatever you did afterwards, that's kind of on you. It was like, damn. Anyhow, Melina explains, I'm sorry, I've already contacted Red Room people. They're on their way. So we cut back to dad trying to be dad, but really bad at it, telling a very nasty fishing story. And to show Yelena that he actually does love her, he sings her song. He sings American Pie, which they have a touching moment until they are interrupted. He is shot with so many darts that he's knocked out. She comes in, she sees Natasha on the floor. Melina's there, knocks her out as well. They're transported to the Red Room. The Red Room is in the sky, literally in the sky. That's why no one can find it. And they knock him out again. They're going to cut open Yelena's brain while she's awake to reinduce the mind control for her. Yelena goes in to talk with General Bad Guy. I don't even care to remember his name. Taskmaster's there, haha, and Natasha and Alex are in a little box. Well, while Melina is talking to this guy, turns out that's not really her. Remember the Black Widow tech where you take off the face, the mask, literally the mask tech? It's Natasha. And really the person that's in there that's with Alex is actually Melina, which is crazy because he was trying to pour his heart out to Natasha and tell her how he felt. He wanted to tell her again because Melina has a calm with uh with Yelena, telling Yelena, hey, there's a blade on your right pocket. You can get out of that anytime you want to, which she does. She gets out. Uh, I but Natasha posing as her mother was able to see the rest of the widows. She's getting information from this guy. He tells Taskmaster to just leave. Of course, since Melina made the sales, they're able to get out. And Natasha finds out through very easy coercion. Not coercion, but very easy tactics. Some of the tactics she used on Loki basically said, okay, so what is all this? What's going on here? Do you even care about anybody? Do you care about your daughter? I killed your daughter. And he says, did you? And we are shown the twist that Taskmaster is actually his daughter. My God, I'm just gonna find the stupid name here because it's literally a name that's just made up. This is not a guy. If someone down below can tell me this is actually a character, sure, whatever. Uh, Character's name is Antonia Dreykov. Antonia, trying to use the female version of Tony Masters. Natasha's bomb ended up blowing up her face, and of course he did everything he did everything he could to save her. Now she just perfectly mimics everybody. She can mimic the Avengers if she wants to, and had to put a chip in the back of her head, whatever. After he puts her mask back on, he tells her to leave. And Natasha's like, yeah, okay, so there you go. You just sent out the one person to stop me from killing you. And he's like, yeah, go ahead, shoot me. She can't pull the trigger. He's like, try your knife. She can't stab him. Apparently, he has, with all the Black Widows, he's a pheromone on him that when they come close to it, it can't kill him. And so, while he's saying, I have all of these widows across the globe. I run everything. With me controlling you, I can do anything. I have an Avenger now. It'll be fine. And Natasha goads this man into punching her. And he fully revealed he fully reveals his whole plan. Shows that his ring is what opens up the box for everything. She says, you're trying to impress me. You're trying to convince me so much when you hide in the shadows. You don't even do your own fighting. And dude punches her a couple of times. It's kind of sad because she can take it. I mean, she fought aliens, for God's sakes, aliens and androids, for God's sakes. And we get a nice little flashback because after he is done telling her the full plan, his full plan of finally coming out of the shadows and showing everybody what the Red Room can do, she says, "Thank you for your cooperation." Same thing she said to Loki. We get a flashback. Melina saying, they gearing up and everything, saying, "So I'm gonna let you know, none of us can, attack this guy. It's a pheromone. It's even on me." Funny enough, Melina actually went through the Red Room training 4 times, so she's probably the killerest of the killers. Anyway, she even tells her, she says, the only thing you can do, you gotta pinch the olfactory nerve. And Natasha says, well, I tried to get you to do it for me, but you're too weak. Bashes her own head on the desk to break her nose and beat the hell out of this guy. Of course, he hits the dinner bell. All the Black Widows are freed from their widow training room where they move in unison or whatever. Yelena has the gas to free all them, so she has to find a way to set it off. While Melina was going to open up the landing bay to allow the good guys, Ross and everybody to come in, while Natasha was having that conversation with the jerk off guy, that plan went to crap. That's why Natasha was more or less buying time while they got out of there. What is Alex doing? Well, Taskmaster rolled up on them while he was talking with his love, and he's having a good old fight with Taskmaster. Good fight scenes in this whole thing. There's a reason why I don't go too far into the fight scenes because you really need to see these for yourself. So, long story short, it's Natasha versus 20 widows. Uh, the order is make her suffer, then kill her. She did a really good job. She did a good job until it's 20 people. She does at one point in time knock all of them down, but of course they're gonna get up. Yelena makes the save because she wraps a flashbang. She wraps the juice in a flashbang, throws it. They're all unmind controlled. She says, "Run, leave," because the place is going down. Everything starts blowing up. Bombs. That's what they just said. Screw it. We're just gonna blow this place up. Uh, Great escape scene. Yelena's going after the Dreykov and Taskmaster, who is now trapped in a cell. Well, Natasha frees Taskmaster because he wants to free her, which doesn't really work when Taskmaster is going to try to kill you, but they are blocked off for a moment. Uh, the two parents, they take a plane, they fly off. We get a moment where it looks like they're going to crash. Spoiler alert, they don't crash. Well, actually, I think they do crash, but they make it. Elena catches up to the guy getting in his plane. All the other widows flew off. They catches up to him, takes a little thunder stick they got, throw it in the thing. She gets blown off the side. Him and all his crew in there get incinerated instantly. And Natasha flies down, catches her sister with a parachute, but we still have the Taskmaster issue. After very nicely done aerial scenes, she ends up fighting Taskmaster, frees her. Um, Taskmaster chick is happy to know her dad is dead or whatever. Melina's hurt. We get a touching moment. Finally, Red Guardian and Black Widow, they have a moment where it's like acknowledging we care about each other. A nice little tidbit for you guys. If you remember in Endgame, when Clint and Natasha, this is also going to come up later, were with Red Skull and realizing that he was telling them who their parents were and everything. He said that Aleski was her dad. She names a woman. She names her mother. She doesn't know her mother's name. She says Aleski is her dad. He was her, not only just her dad, fake. He was actually her real father. I'm assuming that he took on the role of Red Guardian, not just for the fame and fortune, but to watch over his actual daughter. And another thing, I don't think Elena or Natasha realized they were training them while they were younger because he knew what was going to happen. He knew they would be taken to be trained. Um, he even made a period joke, but we're finally confirmed the Red Room forced hysterectomies on all of their trainees, and the ones who live, well, you're sterile. You can't have kids, no matter how young you are. So Natasha has already, while before her fight in the fall of the Red Castle, Red Fortress, she had downloaded the location of all the other sleeper cells because he has sleeper cells all over the world. Girls who he says they're trash, like he gives them purpose because no one else wants them. Very, very big thing on human trafficking. Like I said, I'm assuming that's what these assholes think when they take people's kids and take women and everything. But uh, I believe she gives that list to Yelena. I thought she was gonna give it to Ross. I need to watch the movie again because I'm something's fuzzy because when all of them when they show up, she's not instantly captured, but we do see her later with Rick Mason. She's blonde. She teased earlier in the movie she's gonna change her hair to blonde. I'm gonna assume that she's blonde to, you know, represent her sister. Her sister also gave her the first piece of clothing she ever bought, which was a vest with tons of pockets. Cute, cute moment. Cute moment when you see it. And she's gonna go and break some friends out of jail. The only person that really broke out was Wanda because Clint and Scott both have families and they want to see their families. So, unless of course Natasha did give them the disc and said, "Hey, make it so they can get out and see their families." That would make sense. So of course there was an after credit scene, not a mid credit scene, an after credit scene, which I heard they had to change because initially this scene was going to tie into Falcon and Winter Soldier, and things were getting leaked. Well, in this scene, Yelena goes to the grave of Natasha, where it says, daughter, sister, Avenger. She has a dog, and who creeps up beside her, blowing her nose, saying, Midwest gives me allergies. It's Val, Contessa, the lady played by Louis Dreyfus, lady from Seinfeld, also from Adventures of Old Christine. Really good show. She's there. There she is. Saying, "Hey, I wanted to deliver this personally to you. The guy that killed your sister." Can you guess who's on that picture? It's Hawkeye. It's Clint Barton. And that's where everything ends. So, that is what happened. And I'm glad I did it in under an hour. So, guys, talked about what happened. I talked about the ending. What did I like? Music was great. Aside from that shitty, shitty rendition of Smells Like Teen Spirit, music was great. Amazing. Top notch. Her theme, not as good as Loki's, but it's good. Um, Action scenes were on point. You cannot say that the choreography was bad because it was not. It was really, really great. Even the set pieces, the blowing up Sky Fortress, that was great. The fighting on the ground was great. The fighting at the prison was great. Um, the scene in Budapest was amazing. The scene in Budapest probably had to be the best scene in the whole entire movie, in my opinion. Um, that's what I liked. I like her family members. This movie made me like Natasha more. From a comic standpoint, I'm not a big Black Widow fan. I understand her. I've always liked Yelena more. I've liked her look more. I've liked her attitude more because Natasha in the comics is pretty bitchy. But when Scarlett Johansson was first casted as Black Widow for Iron Man 2, fantastic. I loved her in there. She kind of teetered a bit in Avengers because she couldn't. They made her afraid of Hulk, which, okay, fine, whatever. But you couldn't tell if she was romantically interested in Tony or Clint. Even the actors made point of saying that, which people got mad when they said the character was being slutty. But shut up, these people aren't real. Um, then when you get in Civil War, it's like, is it with Nick or is it with Is it with Steve? And now when I think about it, perhaps it was father figures she was looking for, because when Nick Fury looked like he was gonna die, she was torn up about it. And obviously Clint has a family, and obviously she was into Bruce Banner. So she teeters a lot in movies. I appreciate how she was in not just in game. She was great in Iron Man 2. She was pretty good in Winter Soldier, and pretty good in Civil War. It's just I don't think certain people, I don't think they know how they wanted to write her. So her character, I really was endeared to her in this movie. Yelena Belova, I find her to be way better than Natasha. I love this character. I love Florence Pugh. I cannot wait to see her in more things, which I got to get into in a minute. Uh, Red Guardian better show up again. I love David Hayter. He's one of my favorite actors, as is Rachel Weisz. They're probably gonna do some. It's widows out there, so they might do more stuff with like a widow team. You know, Yelena Belova was part of a team called the Vanguard, which included Blade and some other people, including a guy called Colonel America, who was also from World War II. But we'll talk about that guy another day if it ever comes up. What That's the only things I like. What I hated Taskmaster so much. My buddy told me, he said, "Hey man, look at the way Taskmaster walks. Kind of walks like a woman." I was like, damn, he might be right. But then, guys, comic book guy here, a young lady named Jean Folcott is the alleged daughter of Taskmaster. She is his daughter. Um, he has a kid in the comics. I'm thinking maybe they took his kid and they trained her knowing about his abilities. Maybe that's what happened. No, it's a stupid ass twist. It's a stupid ass twist on the same level as my man Ben Kingsley not actually being the Mandarin. Fucking waste of a character. Fucking waste of a character. Yes, I'm cursing. I apologize for it, but it's a fucking waste of a character. Taskmaster is not just some run of the mill villain. When it comes to MCU, I do so much leeway because you guys they use so much source material. They do a wonderful job of wrapping and changing that source material that it makes sense. I didn't care when you changed Ghost to being Egghead's daughter and you did nothing with Egghead, mind you. Just didn't care about that. Didn't care when you. What else did they changed? They changed so much stuff that I just say I don't care. Black Widow's fake mom is technically her villain. Who cares? I don't care about that. Russell Wyatt, all right, fine, whatever. Yeah, I care so little about certain things that when it comes to a person like Taskmaster, Tony Masters, a smart ass merc, that Taskmaster's personality in the Spider-Man video game side missions is 10 times better than his character in this movie. 10 times, everybody. 10 times better. Unbelievable. Like, you guys want to do inclusion so much? Have Antonia, you guys want trans representation? Make Antonia a trans woman. She says, you know what? I want to make her a trans man. Change her name to Tony Masters. Now I don't care anymore. But she bet when she goes through that transformation, I hope she's literally a different person. I hope she's talking shit. I hope she's actually doing more of Taskmaster stuff, not just throwing the shield, charging the shield, Black Panther claws, the air. I need more. I need more. I need more. It's unfair to compare these movies to the shows where you get 6 episodes, even though the runtime is literally almost the same as a movie, like maybe 3 or 4 hours. Some of these actually, WandaVision was like actually 2.5, almost 3 hours. I think I'm unsure. I gotta check that, but it's unfair to compare it. But I hope somewhere down the line you do. I hope the real Taskmaster comes out of hiding and goes, haha, I have those abilities too, and I don't need a visor. I'm gonna kill you. You're dead. Bye. Oof. I'm Taskmaster now. I even was lenient on the suit. When I first saw the suit, I'm like, the suit looks ugly. And you can modernize a skull mask or a skull helmet to look way better than just some random modern junk. I didn't care about that. You had the sword, you had the shield with the T on it, cool. But that was not Taskmaster. And you went super heavy with the broken fathers thing. Super heavy. The human trafficking thing, that's a really important thing. I would never take anything away from that. always bring a light on issues like that, always. But when it came to her, it's just like, what twist? She didn't need that. That movie didn't need that twist. That's the one thing I hated. That's what took this movie down for me. This movie wasn't like, oh man, it's the best MCU movie of all time. It's spectacular. No, it's a really good movie. But that knocked it down several points for me. But what comes next? It's already been confirmed that Yelena's going to be in the the Hawkeye show with Kate Bishop. Obviously, she's the one that's chasing him. And I was wondering who would be the villain. There's several characters in there. There's a guy, there's the Sword guy. There's several people. Like literally the bad guy named Sword. He's old. He's throwaway. Don't worry about him. He's like Flag Smasher. No, who cares? But I hope at least by episode 2, he's able to go, by the way, I didn't actually kill her. I tried to kill myself so she wouldn't die. She tricked me so well that she ended up killing herself before I can do anything. Which again, how does I get that Val is supposed to be able to have information that no one else knows, even knowing about um, U.S. agent taking the serum when really nobody else was there? Fine. But how do you have information when they weren't even on the same world or plane of existence? How would you know that he killed her? And how would you know? If you knew that, then you would know that he didn't want that to happen. Which means you're playing Yelena, which means eventually Yelena's going to turn on you, and hopefully she'll be in the real Thunderbolts. I'm guessing this lady runs the Dark Avengers. I'm going to assume that her benefactor is Norman Osborn. In the comics, she's always been a double agent for Nick Fury, which is weird. It's weird at times. I can't tell if she's a good guy or a bad guy in the comics. But her guy was always Nick. I'm gonna assume that her guy is Norman Osborn from a different universe. If you know, you know. Um, so what does all this mean? There's no more multiple movie contracts anymore, which is better for the actors because now you can choose, you can do other things while these movies are going on. You could do so much more and not be tied down. But at the end of the day, it means if people come back, they come back because they really want to do it, and I love that. That's cool with me, and that's really how it should be, honestly. No, I would not give kudos to Natalie Portman because she made Dark World horrible with her Star Wars prequel level acting. You were great in Black Swan. What the hell are you doing? I won't give kudos to Gwyneth Paltrow because she bitched and moaned and really wasn't in a lot of stuff either. I give credit to Hugo Weaving because he stuck to his guns. He didn't think this thing would last. You were wrong. You're gonna be in the Matrix again. Thought you didn't like doing sequels, jerk. Whatever. But my God, my God. Talking about Taskmaster made me mad. Um, what else was missing for me? Two things. And 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 the Winter Soldier, she made note that she knew Bucky. We didn't even get a flashback of Barnes training her. Technically, the Winter Soldier was made from the Russians, not Hydra. I don't care if you change that, but I would assume that they worked with Hydra to get some of this done. And she said she knew him, so did he know her because of a mission? And he almost killed her. Is that going to be a show thing where you flash that back? Is it going to be a movie? And another thing is, people wanted flashbacks of the Budapest thing with Hawkeye. No, I mean, I guess I did too. Don't tell me, show me. Make that a 3 to 4 episode show about the thing in Budapest. I don't want to be told about this cool ass shit that happened with two of the greatest spies on the planet. If you can't tell, I'm a big Hawkeye fan. He's one of my favorite characters. I love those type of down to earth characters that push themselves to their limits. Yeah, Spider Man's my favorite superhero, blah blah blah, but I love Hawkeye. Literally one of my favorite Avengers. And it's kind of sad that this movie came out so late, but what can you do? At least I was more invested in this than Captain Marvel. Captain Marvel doesn't suck by any means, but I was more invested in this. Um, it's just that Taskmaster thing and that Budapest thing with Hawkeye. It would have been so, for whatever reason, those two can never be in a movie together. And I don't know if it's an actor's thing or if the writers, because funny enough, the writer from WandaVision can't even read comics. I don't know if the writers or directors just can't do anything. If someone just looked at Taskmaster and said, "Oh, it's just a suit. You can put anybody in it." No, I don't know what it just. Why didn't? Why couldn't? Why couldn't? Why couldn't Winter Soldier have Hawkeye in it? Why couldn't this have Hawkeye in it instead of just a picture and a quick voiceover clip? Whatever. But all that to say, for me, in reality, the movie's a 4 out of 5. But for me personally, it is a 3 because of Taskmaster alone. Because of Taskmaster alone, this movie is a 3. It is a freaking 3. Now, that does not mean that the movie sucks. This movie does not suck. If anyone tells you it sucks, they're lying. But the Taskmaster thing, I would have. It goes from a 5 to a 4 because of the Hawkeye stuff, because you didn't do enough flashbacks. But it goes to that 3 because of Taskmaster, man. You can't just take a guy like that and just, yeah. So please let me know if you've seen the movie. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Sorry this took a long time. Just, I tell you guys, you can listen to me like a podcast, and I really do mean that. It's just, wow, I'm dumbfounded by what was happening. And I tried my best. I gave myself some time to say, do I still care about this? Yeah, I still do. Yeah, I still do. So, again, let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Give me a like, a subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified of more videos like this. I'm looking forward to last episode of Loki, doing a Loki wrap up. I'm looking forward to Shang-Chi, Spider-Man, and Multiverse of Madness. It was brought up to me that because of Multiverse of Madness, we might see a different Taskmaster. I hope the Marvel Universe gets smashed together and they change some stuff. I'm scared. I'm scared for X-Men now. With seeing Taskmaster, I'm scared for X-Men. Please don't ruin Cyclops. As always, be good, be blessed. Wash your hands, wear a mask. Black Lives Matter. Be good to yourself and be good to others. Please do not be a jerk, and I will definitely see you next time.